That's it. So I believe we have Zachary with us. Welcome, Zachary.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you being here.
So, what do you got? What do you you like my not allowing people to wear hats sideways in the house?
Oh, I didn't hear that part. That was probably while I was having dinner. I just came back.
I was just talking about setting boundaries. Whether it's saying no to these false flags, whatever, saying no to whatever in society. That even in my house, I always, my grandmother used to say, she said, if you don't allow evil in your house, it can't come in. And, since she died, I've always, every once in a while, said, evil, just out loud at night or whatever, and said, evil, you're not allowed. And made it mentally clear in my head that no evil's in this house. And ever since I did that, I never had a nightmare. I've always slept peacefully. And, other things I've learned to do since then is, any new rap, because it's nothing but crap and demeaning, I don't allow it to be played in my house. If people walk in the house with baggy jeans, I make them pull it up or walk out. If they got a hat sideways, you wear it straight or you take it off. And it's just a matter of me and my own boundaries. But people set boundaries and say there's nothing wrong with saying no. And we need to teach people that it's okay to say no, because we say so much in society today. We say so much yes or nothing, and it's allowing it to happen. And we need to start saying no for things that, whether it's something we don't like or something we don't feel comfortable with. We need, society to start saying no.
Yeah, and that conversation sort of got. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just saying, well, you guys are talking values, and that's exactly what we have in this nation. We have a crisis of values. People in this nation, by and large, are obsessed with materialism and entertainment, and that's right where the tyrants want, the minds of the masses. They want them focused on materialism and being entertained, and that's where at least 90% of the public is. And instead, it's got to be a change of consciousness. People have to become about truth and taking a look around where the direction of society is going and what we're actually doing with our lives and what we're being brought up and trained to do. So many people are suffering in this nation and in this world as well, and needlessly, and they don't realize. How many people, find themselves in a health crisis and they don't have the resources to pull themselves out of that health crisis, so they die. That's over half the country's fate. And why don't they have the resources when they've been working their whole lives? Well, it's because they've been taxed at every avenue. You're paying taxes on your income. You're paying taxes on your purchase. You want to have a cell phone, you're paying taxes on that. How many roads across this nation are getting tolls on them? Just more and more tolls being put up everywhere. There's just more and more taxes. People are working longer hours, lower benefits, less take-home pay. And meanwhile, they're still just mostly focused on what's going on, what movie's coming out this weekend, who's my favorite sports team playing, and this what has to change. I saw somebody in the chat before I went to dinner. I saw somebody left a comment. How are we going to reach the masses? And the only way we're going to reach these masses is by taking over the airwaves, the television, and what I've been preaching for years now is we need to wake up enough people. You guys are using the boots on the ground terminology, which I like. We need to get enough people willing to put boots on the ground, and we need to line up outside CNN, NBC, ABC, all these networks, and on the same day, we're all marching into the studio. We're going to knock Anderson Cooper right off of his stool and the rest of these talking heads, and we're going to say, you know what, enough's enough, enough's enough. This is what's on the airwaves today. And until we take over the TV, I don't know if people have seen the movie Network. If you've never seen the film Network, you got to check out that movie. Howard Bill. We all need to become Howard Bill and take over the nightly news station at once. And we need to also be coordinated in what we say. We need to come and say, this is what's going on, and this is what we're putting an end to tomorrow. Everyone's going to stop paying for their tabs on their license plate. Everyone's going to stop sending in their taxes. We're just shutting it down. There's not going to be an IRS anymore. Because if we can get the whole nation to uprise, and there's nothing they can do about it. There's not enough prison cells. There's not enough police. There's not enough military. That's what we need to realize, that there's enough of us to overthrow the tyrants, and it can be done in an evening. So I think it's completely feasible, and that's what I'm set out to do. And I express that in the book that I'm writing, and I think we can do it sooner than later. I mean, it has to be done because eventually they're just going to push us all over the cliff, and we don't want to reach that day. So
I'm with
you. You're right about that. I mean, there was a time where it was a lot easier to do stuff like that because, the way they you turned everything digital, but there was a back in the day where you could start your own radio station very easily and reasonably inexpensive. But you can't even do those type of things anymore. The FCC.
But they still call them the public airwaves, right?
Yeah, and people don't realize how much control has been taken over by our federal government over what we are allowed to see and not. Because whether, whatever it is that you're watching on television, you're not having, remember back in the day there used to be public access on the local community, cable stations? Whatever happened to that? You don't even see those anymore.
They still got it in Spokane, Washington. That's what I noticed. I thought in Spokane that somebody said, "Oh, I remember this." Some places still got it.
Well, some places I guess still have it, but I mean it's rare. It's rare, And and not only that is it's disappearing, and not only that is and people don't watch it anymore because there's so much other stuff that they're so into, which is stuff that they own and control.
Right. The tyrants have the world addicted to their products. I'm always marveled at how many people are just in line for their Starbucks at all hours of the day, and I'm just thinking, man, if we could get all these Starbucks addicts to get obsessed with the truth, we could take the world back tomorrow. And somehow we just have to figure out a way to reach these people. I think that, the boots on the ground campaign needs to be at every mall. It needs to be at every Starbucks because if you're there, you're going to reach half your community, the day of. So we have to go where people are, the sports game, the mall, the Starbucks. If we can get people on the ground there speaking out and waking people up, it could have an impact.
As much as, we are almost like a cult following of truth, but it's only in cyberspace almost nowadays. It's not in reality. How often do you see, truthers get together to hand out flyers? You don't hear about that kind of stuff. But those are the kind of things that need to happen because, in reality is where it's going to make the change. When you get in people's faces, then people see. Imagine if a whole bunch of local police saw that, well, there's people actually doing something about truth. Maybe we should rethink, doing this big hoax.
Right.
They might call it out.
That's exactly what needs to happen. Yeah. Last year at this time, I put together a campaign to start something called All for Truth, and a website got built, and it was supposed to be about uniting people through the web, but so that they could actually meet in their communities. And then the plan was to get enough people as part of this network so that the next time a false flag happened in their community, a group of people could show up there and put out the word and expose what's going on and hold these police officers accountable. And anyway, I made I didn't vet the people who I had built the website, and it turned out that they were actually part of the tyrant network. So instead, they worked to make me look bad. But anyway, that's still something like that still needs to happen. We need to use the internet to organize, but then we need to get the feet on the ground.
You're right, and it's tough because we do get infiltrated so often, over and over again. But I think we're coming to the point where more and more people are starting to realize who's actually truth and who isn't, because we've seen this so much. Listen, I'll even admit, I fell for some of the shills. I watched Alex Jones maybe the first few weeks I woke up. I think, everybody's been deceived. But I think some of us are starting to get better and starting to be able to read and tell who's the shill and who isn't. And that's a good thing. But now the problem is trying to get us together and get us all on the same page, and then get the people on the same page so we can actually get something done. And that it is
well,
tough
the problem is people are occupied. I mean, almost everyone is trapped in their family and in their job, and they don't have much time other than that. And, I mean, that's what I hear from people all the time. They're like, I want to do something, but I got children, and, you know, I got to pay the bills. So it's like we have to create a way for people to see the escape from the invisible chains that bind them. I mean, essentially in this society, there's enough shelter, there's enough material goods. What we don't have a supply of that's steady is food. If we could reestablish local agriculture in communities, you know, then we have all of our bases covered. So somehow it is difficult to overcome what's upon us, but we have to start somewhere, and people have to see what the direction of things is. I mean, if we don't change the path we're on, it's I mean, we know what it is. I mean, the future, the direction of things in this nation, in terms of the poison in the food, the poison in the vaccines, the working conditions, it just gets worse and worse every single year. So, I mean, there'll be a breaking point if we as a society don't take action and change the course of things. And that has to be communicated to people. People have to see what will happen before long if we don't take action. And I mean, also the other direction of things is we're not going to be able to speak out about anything if we don't act soon enough. It's going to be like France, where in France, if you speak out against Zionism, it comes with a prison sentence. You know, in France, you can't even call out the tyrants. It's a federal crime there. And we're going in that direction in the United States. You see a lot of Congress members and all this, you can't boycott Israel and stuff. I mean, it's about to happen here too.
States.
We're probably...
Yeah.
25 states already.
That's what's headed, you know, and what Zach was talking about is a lot of what I've referred it to as the tool. Because so many of the fake truthers are out here, and the shills even, they're all here for one thing, the money, the tool. And that is your enslavement. Because it's the money system that's keeping you enslaved.
Right. Right.
And you know, Zach's right about this. And people don't realize, you know, with the IMF switching the special drawing rights over to China, and with the new Chinese, gold exchange, and then all these empty cities in China and Astana, you know, I almost feel like there's some of these elite Zionists are ready to do an exile and go over and exploit that market. And they may leave us in the dust and shit will fall apart. So if they do something like that, we need to find ways that, you know, we're up here in Maine, we grow potatoes, but when the winters are so cold, you know, we don't have any food, but maybe we could trade potatoes with a state for, you know, fruits and vegetables. You know, we need to figure out, because, you know, America could be self-sufficient. You know, and we were for a long time. We wouldn't be here with our ancestors that weren't self-sufficient.
Right.
So,
if people got out of the cities and got out into the open spaces where you can still have agriculture, it could be done. I mean, all these people in the city system won't be sustainable anymore. You can't have all these people concentrated there. It's all concrete. You can't grow food there. So, anyway, who's this Happy Life in the chat?
Yeah,
this Happy Life. Hey, Happy Life, since you're listening, listen, buddy, your long nose is going to be in a box, a collector's box of mine pretty soon. So enjoy your last days. I mean, I'm so sick of these trolls that work for Israel, and he's probably over in Israel right now. Yeah. You know, these people, they need to be 86.
You know what's funny about that guy? I just blocked him again.
Yeah, I mean, we've blocked him before.
But that's the same guy that I've already blocked 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he probably has 500 different accounts.
Yeah. That's, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's that same guy again. And he always says the same crap.
Yeah.
But we blocked him.
These people are such low life.
We blocked him three times in one night, and he came back even when we were over.
He sure did.
Right.
But they're out there. I don't know if you saw, like, the latest threats to me by the people from Sandy Hook, and they even said they were from Sandy Hook. You know, and they literally threatened me on Facebook, and I can't even do anything about it. And it's funny. It's hilarious. You know, but, I mean, I like that they do that, because at least I have some evidence that these people are threatening me. But and the thing about it, I feel the fact that they're really going after me lately is they're scared to death of me having a protest, even if it's just me and Sandy Hook. So I think that's a good thing, because if they're scared to death over something like that, that means, that means it's making an impact in one way or another. Just the fact that I can put fear into them or really piss them off, isn't that a good thing? It's the way I look at it.
They're scared and they're cowards. I mean, these people are pathetic, and that's the other thing that bothers me. These tyrants who rule over us, they're mostly all old and shriveled. And then you just look at who all their goons are, all their little henchmen. They're all just tiny little people. I mean,
he came back
if
again,
we could
Bill.
have the manpower of this nation, we could steamroll these people.
Don't worry, I just
look, he's already back. Look at this idiot.
Yeah.
And he's paid for with our tax dollars, I guarantee you.
And you know what? That channel was already blocked before, too. I just checked it.
Yeah, he's using channels.
Well, you can make channels with the same name, so,
Yeah, that's probably what he's doing.
Oh no, I looked at it. I mean, because on my side it said blocked already.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I recognized him. Even the other one, I blocked him so many times, but he keeps coming right back. He's like a bad penny.
Yeah. Well, that's what else bothers me about online. It's like, there's not. It says that there's 15 people watching now. I mean, there's more trolls online than there are people seeking truth. And that's just, the tyrant should see that. I mean, they're such pathetic cowards. There's almost nobody who's seeking truth, but they're still afraid anyway. It's just, yeah. I mean,
we were trying to come
ahead.
up with a list of actual real truthers, okay? Like Zachary, like Jerry, like myself. But the more we looked, the more I'm thinking, wow, if I'm lucky, maybe we'll get 20 people on the list, huh?
It's funny, as we look, we end up uncovering all these shills.
Yeah, it's not a long list. I mean, it's not a long list of people who are really about truth. So it's mostly shills out here, especially on YouTube.
It is. And it sucks.
Yeah, well, I know Haley's real. I know some of the people come in here are real. I get frustrated because I've tried for so long to tell people the money is the tool that's keeping them enslaved. It is the root of all evil. And, and I tell them over and over, and you get these people up here calling themselves truthers, and the only thing they want is money. And you look at the shields, and that's all they're after is money, steering you down the rabbit hole, lying to you, and lining their pockets like Jason Goodman, $4 million freaking apartment in New York. I mean, $4 million, and he's asking money from people while he lives in a $4 million apartment, travels from here and travels to there. Okay, it just keeps right on doing all this traveling and all his life feeds because the guy's a freaking plant, and I just keep seeing this stuff that pisses me off because he's asking for money.
Bill, he's up again. F you.
Oh, I see that. Don't worry.
Just leave him here. Let's just watch his idiotic comments. I mean, these people just make themselves look bad.
Oh, hold on.
So here, you guys want some gematria on Alex Jones? This is why gematria is just the best. So Alex Jones' birthday is February 11th, 1974. And February 11th is the 42nd day of the year. In gematria, the word Freemason equals 42, and it's absolutely Freemasonry that's running the show. The big G in the middle of the Freemason compass represents 42. The name Alex Jones equals 42 the small way. The name Alex the big way is 42. InfoWars equals 42. And, I mean, just think about his name, InfoWars. I mean, it's what it's all about. It's all about distorting the information. He pushes more false fear than the actual media does and sells all of his bunker snacks and all that crap. Yes. He just has exactly. Yeah, 42 and 74. Those are the biggest numbers of Freemasonry. The reason this nation's birthday is July 4th, 7-4, is because Masonic equals 74, so does Jewish, so does Independence Day, so does holiday. What I find really curious is if you write out 4th of Jew, July, like July, it even equals 74. And I'm like, is that a coincidence? 4th of July. 2 years ago, do you guys remember what they did on the 4th of July? Do you remember what the news story was in 2016 on the 4th of July?
No.
I don't.
Remember the Jupiter probe, the Juno probe? It arrived at Jupiter.
Oh,
Did you guys see what Google did on that day? Did you see what Google did for their doodle?
Yeah.
They changed it so it said Goy. They made it G-O, and then the rest of it was the supposed to be the probe, but it was a Y.
Weird.
So the Jupiter probe, and then Google has Goya, Goy, as in Goyim.
I always wondered why the fuck that was. No shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more to that, but that was just the biggest mocking, Jupiter on the 4th of July, and then the Goy thing with Google. The people at Google, I can't wait till the day we do have our army, because that place is going to get burned to the ground. Pieces of work. I'd like to. This FU guy, I would like to know how much he's paid. All these trolls, I just have a feeling they're all making minimum wage, and they're in this little troll factory. I mean,
this one's not that bright, so I'm guessing they just got him to do it for free.
Exactly.
Maybe
he might even be paying them for the privilege to do it.
Because he's not that smart.
Yeah.
But did you ever do any of the numbers on Astana?
Asana, what's that?
Astana. You never looked into Astana and Kazakhstan?
No, I don't think I know about
the New World Order city. It's I got to show you that place. I can't believe you don't know about it.
No, I got to get up on this. I don't know about it.
City they're building in Kazakhstan, right? And it's got all the symbology. They built a giant pyramid. They got all this bizarre. They got like the square and compass layout, but it's so you can actually see it, and that's what it's not just what it looks like. It looks like that. They got a big phoenix, rising, a big Phoenix Park and all this stuff. It's just you have to see
Perfect.
it. You have to Google it. Actually, if you go on Google Earth and you just look at it, you'll see it right away.
The Phoenix is the dead giveaway because it's
not only that,
that's the symbol of their one world order.
Huh?
The Phoenix. Do you know what the Order of the Quest is?
Yeah.
That's their symbol. The Order of the Quest is the real name of the New World Order, and the Phoenix is their symbol.
I'm surprised you haven't looked into Astana. It'll blow your mind. You just got to look into it. You'll see it like crazy right away.
Okay, yeah. Send me the name after the show. I'll look into it.
Yeah, I'll send it out to you. It'll blow your mind. It's pretty interesting.
I've been frustrated recently with fucking. Excuse my language. There's a couple of shows on my line that's really got my attention, and I actually went after the one while I put some stuff together out of his own mouth, and we won't even say his name on this show because this is YouTube, okay? And I know if I say his name, somehow it's going to go back to him, and then this channel will be gone. So, but I will say Jason Goodman. Talked about him earlier. That guy just pisses me off to no end. How he has a $4 million apartment, does all this traveling, all these live feeds every day, and then asks for money.
Right.
Yeah, I know
he's in it for. I mean, that's why they do what they do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all connected with Mossad there too. I mean, because that's a pretty trippy thing when you look at him and how he's connected with Gary Webb. And, Gary Webb's supposed brother, David Swagert, and then their father is the one who invented the cell phone. All right. And, he was a schizophrenic, and the two brothers, whether they're the same person or not, they wrote a book about hacking, and they're dangerous people. These people out there that are involved with these shows, they're dangerous people. And, you know, and not only that, is when you start talking about schizophrenics and living in northern Indiana, there's a good chance they're MK Ultra. So people don't understand half these shills are not, it's just not that they're shills. You're watching MK Ultra people, you know? Just because they have some truth or they have something good to say doesn't mean that they're not MK Ultra. You know, I mean, the whole MK Ultra program was not just about creating a perfect Manchurian candidate, but you know, making a superhuman or making, you know, that split conscience be better at something. You know, and that's why you see so many people in sports that are MK Ultra or in the movies. You know, because imagine if you could train the brain to remember lines. Well, you know, just like it was second nature. They would make an excellent actor. You know, and that's why you see these MK Ultra people in Hollywood and in our sports and wherever, because it's a development program for people. You know, so you know we're battling against MK Ultra people, which makes it even almost more pathetic. in a weird way, you know.
It is pathetic, man. It is pathetic. The real MK Ultra, though, I mean, there's some sort of hypnosis that the people of this nation are under to not see through the obvious lies and mockery that comes through the media each day. I mean, I don't know how anybody could still believe what's on the news in light of anything that comes through.
From what I read from their own social engineers, all right, when I was reading some of their social engineering from the RAND Institute, the percentages is, you know, I guess it floats somewhere between 10 and 15% are people that they just cannot brainwash no matter what they do, okay? But the rest, they fall into a category, and they number the category 1 through 5, and 5 being the most, you know, able to be manipulated, and, you know, 1s and 2s being less. So what they do is they try and find all the 5s, and those are the ones they work on, you know. But the rest, they just put under, you know, a mass general, you know, social engineering program. That's how they look at it, because they don't even have, you know, that you know, a general mass social engineering program is TV, news, and media, and that's really basically it, and that's all they need to do. But that other small 10, 15%, you know, those are the ones there's nothing they can do to brainwash us, from what I understand. And that's from their own reports. You know, and that does make sense when you read, you know.
It sounds right.
I mean,
it seems like
when you're
1 out of 10 people
you understand that because, huh?
I mean, that's the ratio I've always said. It seems like 1 out of 10 people get it in this nation, and everybody else is lost in the clouds. So, I mean, sounds accurate.
That's basically about it. And here's the thing is that, and that's why I tell people, you know, as much as we want to fight against their stuff and this and that, when you read their real reports and they're talking about bad things they're doing to us, and they understand, when they say, you know, that 85% is what they'll always be able to control, and this other 10% is, you know, they just can't do anything to control. We also have to be accepting of the fact, well, that 85%, there's nothing we're going to be able to do, because let's face it.
I disagree. I disagree.
Well,
they're under the hypnosis. They're under the hypnosis of what's taking place. That's why I say the only way to break through to these people is to take over the media, because the media really does control these people. If all of a sudden you and I are on the news tomorrow night, and you and I are laying out the facts, and we're doing it convincingly, it's going to have an impact on them. I mean, a lot of people can't wake up.
That's a different story. That's a different story, because then we're socially conditioning them in a positive way.
Well, that's what needs to happen. So that's the way. That's the way people are. That's the way people are. That's why back in the day people were in tribes, and there was the chief, and you followed the chief because the chief was wise, and the chief cared about his people, and the chief did what was in the interest of the people. Now the chief is the long noses, and their only interest is that we're all on their slave ship working for them, so they don't have to. You know, if I'm on the news tomorrow and I'm reading from the Talmud, you know, I'm saying, okay, here, people, you know what? Tonight you don't have your Talmud thumper on here. You don't have your Talmud thumper minion. Tonight you got me on here, and tonight I'm going to read you a little bit of the Talmud so you can know what's in here. And you can know who you're sending your tax dollars off to and what these people believe about you. And now you can understand why each new holiday season we get another movie about the Holocaust because, you know, that's the one genocide in this world that matters. And let's not even talk about how that's the one that never even happened. But, you know, so that's what needs to happen because exactly, people are meant to be led. You know, most people need to be led. You know, I knew from a young age that I was a natural-born leader. I was the leader on my sports teams. I was the leader in the classroom. You know, some of us are leaders. Most of us aren't. Most people only know how to follow, and the problem is everyone's following the leader, but the leader is an evil tyrant. So people become minions. That's how I expressed. In the book, I clearly expressed that essentially what we have in this society are a bunch of minions of the synagogue of Satan because that's who these people are. And that's why they've swallowed up their values. That's why they're all about materialism and entertainment and me, and they don't care about the truth, and they mock the truth because that's what they've learned. I mean, they sit and watch these sitcoms. I can't stand – I've just realized that being awake my whole life. Whenever you turn on the television and watch just any of these sitcoms, it's like every other episode they have to put in some little snarky remark or some joke that's at the expense of the person who cares about the truth. It's just constant reinforcement if you watch television of embracing lies and dismissing truth as conspiracy theory. And this is what everyone's all synced up. I mean, I just saw it all after September 11th. I was like, look at this. I mean, people can't see that a man in a cave didn't do this, and you're watching your bullshit sitcom, and they're making fun of you. It's just – so it all needs to change, and it can change if enough of us find our balls and go in and knock Anderson Cooper and the rest of these goons off their stools. So that's where I'm
at. And that's the thing. There are some of us that want to do it. I'd love to do it, you know. And then, you know, here's the thing is we have to get a foot out the door and do something, you know. And I hate to keep on bringing up the protests, but I really need to get the word out there. You know, so many people keep on saying they can't come, but you can share the information. Listen, even if you can't come, you know how important sharing the information is? Well, just for my own safety, the more people that know that I'm doing it and for what reasons I'm doing it, the safer I am. You know, if nobody knows, they could sneak me off somewhere and nobody will even care or know. So the news needs to get out there, you know, even if it's just me that goes. So, you know, things like that are important. But, you know, at least it's a step. You know, and I'm promising it's not going to be the last, even if it's a little one.
What you're saying is right. You have to put out a message to let people know what you're doing because it is a layer of safety. I don't know if you saw what happened to me last Christmas Eve. I had Montegraph making threats for me for Christmas Eve. He was putting out these videos. He's wearing this black and white checkered mask. And he's saying I better watch my back on Christmas Eve. And then a car crashes through my house on Christmas Eve. So I was out of town when the car crashed through the house. And so I had to drive back that night. I got back to my house at like 2 in the morning on Christmas Day. And the first thing I did was I just recorded the scene and uploaded a video. And then when I got up in the morning, there was already like 50 YouTube videos made saying I'm a shill and I faked a car crashing into my house. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, where did they pull all these people out of the woodwork to say I faked this? But anyway, so the reason I always document things is because, I mean, that night here I am sleeping in my house with threats, and I have a hole in the side of my house, so it's easy for anyone to get in here. So I just want people to know what's going on. But, yeah, that's why I've always documented what's going on in my life in the time I've done this and put out videos just so people can know. I mean, my whole house got ripped off when I get the death threats in the mail. I just let people know because, I mean, if more people know, then I feel like it makes it harder for them to do anything. Because, I mean, I feel like if they do something to me and more people are aware, well, it's just going to wake up a lot more people and it's going to make my message a lot more valid. But, yeah, you're right on about
that's the way I look
documenting
at it. That. Well, yeah, that's the way I look at it. And that's what they don't want. That's why, you know, the message is important because, you know, if they do something, that only will wake up a shit ton more people, get the message way further out there. So that stops them from doing stuff because they're, sometimes they think, not all the time, but sometimes they think about stuff like that. Just like the threats that they made to me recently. I thought of calling the Sandy Hook, the Newtown police, because there's no Sandy Hook police. That people are so confused on how that town even works. But, just to tell them, hey, these people are threatening me. Let them know that your own people are threatening me, just so you know. I'm recording it. I'm putting it on notice that I've been threatened by you guys.
Well, that's the deal. Zachary brought up the very person I was talking about. I wasn't saying his name, but I don't really care, because I did put a video together with him telling on himself. Put it on YouTube, because anytime I say anything about Moneygraph, I get attacked by Moneygraph under October Ends and I'm your ghost
right.
and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay? So he'll come after me and attack me because I dare to say something. But I did make a collection off of his own mouth and exposed him for what he is off of his own mouth. And I posted it up on Facebook, and I also posted up on, TalkShoe or BitChute?
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is, like Zach, is, the research I did, we're coming to find out that Monograph is actually just Jason Goodman's bitch, is what we're finding out.
Yeah, he's somebody.
Yeah, he's handled it. He's looking. Jason Goodman's the liaison with the Mossad, and it's looking like Monograph is basically his bitch.
Oh, he got mad madder than hell at me when I said, "So who's your handler?" He didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a dangerous person, though. He put out after the car crash through my house. Then he put out another video about me and a dead squirrel, and then I literally had a dead squirrel right on my step the next day. And I know that the police aren't on my side, but I just documented with the police, and the police said, "Oh," I showed them the video and everything. They said, "Well, there's nothing we can do about this." I'm just thinking, that when we take over this nation, we need to just roll over the police too. All the police are is a barrier to justice. It's just,
yeah. Well,
the police are the.
I told my people it was just a weird occurrence that when I came up here, how lucky I was that the police chief where I moved to was extraordinary, really cool. He's the one that made arrangements so I can testify in court about the Kalamazoo Uber shooting being fake. I think I sent you copies of that paperwork, Zach. Did I?
I don't think so. No, you can send that to me.
I'll send it to you right after the show, so you can read it. And the judge sits there and says, "Well, we know these things go on in some places, but we can't prove whether or not it did." But he admitted that these things go on, and he apologized for what I went through, and I was able to get the transcripts, and he reassured me that those things don't go on here. So it's a rare occurrence that I happen to show up in a place where the police are like that. But I think it's because I'm so far secluded, way up in Maine, that they some of the elite of the northern woods, which is probably not that elite, that do know what's going on, don't necessarily like it, But because they haven't been so indoctrinated, because they're so far way up in the woods here, So
right.
It's an interesting thing. But you're right about the police. Everywhere else in this country, I've seen them. It's a joke. It's a joke. They're just order followers that will do whatever they're told for a paycheck. They don't care. They're not there to serve and protect you. They're not there for anything other than, their, little show to make it look like you're safe and look like they're helping you. And the rest of it is to, screw things up.
Well,
we don't have much of a police department up here. So if somebody gets hurt, you'll see somebody put on their blinkers and race to the hospital. We take care of each other, and not having all those ambulances and security, and being able to teach each other how to rely on each other, that everybody has an emergency medical kit, in their own house. So if their neighbor gets hurt or you get hurt, they can help each other. It works. It works. And not only that, I think it's a better system because people are doing that out of their own heart.
Of course.
They're not doing
that's what
you know.
we need to restore
Go ahead,
power
Zach.
to ourselves. So we've given up all of our power in our society. We don't have power to protect ourselves. We have to wait for the law enforcement to do it. I mean, my real situation is I know that the police and my neighbor were connected to the burglary of my house because the police officer was stationed across from my house like it was his only job, just parked there all day, every day, until the day my house got burglarized, and then he was never there again. So it was like he was scoping me out and getting my schedule and figuring out when the time was to hit me. And anyway, we live in a world where, I mean, I know exactly who burglarized my house. I know my neighbor's in on it. He went out and bought the exact same vehicle as me right after. And I know that the police aren't trying to help me out. And the next thing I know, my neighbor, who's part of the burglary of my house, is filing a restraining order against me and then harassing me after he gets a judge to uphold that, which I still to this day can't believe that the judge upheld the restraining order when he had no ground to really file it other than he was just trying to fuck with me. And so this is like the joke of the nation we live in. And then because I got the restraining order against me, then all of a sudden I couldn't be a gun owner anymore. I had to give up. I don't have the right to own a gun still. So I'm just like, look at this. I'm getting robbed by my neighbor. The police are part of it. Now I got a judge giving him legal power over me, and now I can't even protect myself living across the street. So this is all bullshit. I mean, what kind of society is this? What kind of rules are these?
You have a restraining order, you can't have a gun?
Right. Well, that's how it is here in Washington State.
No shit. Wow. They're really freaking just, they're really just going over and above what they should be allowed to do.
Well,
and we're just allowing
People
all this
need
to
to
happen.
hear that because that could happen to anybody where you could go out, you could be dating somebody, some kind of bullshit happens. Next thing you know, she gets a restraining order against you and you lose all your guns. People need to know that.
I'll tell you where the donation button is. If you bend over and put your finger back there, you'll be able to find it somewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, this nation is just a joke, and the thing is, I mean, if you're Joe Schmo and all you care about is watching your ball game and keeping your favorite snacks in your fridge and your cupboard and you just tuck your head down like a turtle and act like everything's peaches and cream. I mean, you can get by in this world, and sadly, that's who this nation is. And it's like the problem for Joe Schmo is when the tyrants take us to the cliff, it's going to be the day they turn the lights on us or whatever they have planned. That's when Joe Schmo is going to be fucked, and he's going to realize that he should have woke up and he should have seen all the warning signs. But it's going to be too late. And sometimes I think I should just figure out where the best place is to live in this world. I mean, we live under the New World Order, and pretty much they have jurisdiction everywhere. But some places are still better than others. But it's like I don't really want to run, and I just want to fucking restore sanity where I was born. And I know it can be done, but the only way it's going to be done is if we take over the television waves, the airwaves, and so we have to figure out how to put the campaign together to make that happen. And that's my mission right now.
Yeah, because
I'm with him on that. I'm actually with him on that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I really do.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie They Live?
Yes, I have. I even got it.
That movie ends with him, taking down the cable and then everyone snapping out of it. And I mean, the tyrants know it. The tyrants know that that's exactly what it is. So we got to have the same ending.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've talked with Bill, why I don't think there's going to be an EMP or something that will take down the grid, because they need that up for their control. They need that.
Well, they
up.
can always flip it back.
They don't want to.
They want to depopulate. They can just take it down for 2 weeks. I mean, you take out the power in this nation for 2 weeks, It's going to be mayhem.
Yeah. Well, there's that option too, but let's hope we don't get to that deep of depopulation, because I think the way they're already going, they really don't need to do much. I mean, Japan's losing 1 million people a year already. European population growth is down. American population growth is down. It's already down, and all this other crap they're doing is only even drive it down further. So, as far as literally making everybody purge, if they could just, string people along for another 20 years, they're not going to need to do that.
That's it.
That's true.
Well, our blog talk time is about up, guys. Now, Jerry, I don't know if it's up to you. If you want to stick up here on YouTube Live for a while, we can. Otherwise, we'll call it. It's up to you.
I mean, it's up to you guys. We can call it if you want.
Well, I better get off for the night. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was good chatting, and I appreciate the show you guys do. So.
Yeah, well, thank you, Zach.
And I appreciate it too, Zach. I really do. Well, let me know how I can get
You're
your
welcome.
book, because
it's almost done. I'll let everyone know where they can pick it up. The pre-order should be up this week. If people want to pre-order it, I'll let everyone know where they can pre-order it.
All right, sounds good.
That'll work.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, Zach.
Welcome. Take care.
Yep.
All right, Bill. Yeah, we can end it.
Finish what you started and earn your nursing or health sciences degree. Rasmussen College offers more than 20 innovative healthcare programs that provide a high level of support. When it comes to your education, you can continue living your life and benefit from flexible, online, and accelerated learning options as you earn your degree without sacrificing your schedule. Bring it home and see where it takes you. Learn more at rasmussen.edu.